Scorpio, there is something buried so deep within you that you didn't even know it was there. 5 sacred desires, 5 divine purposes, 5 specific missions that were placed at the center of your being even before you were born. I'm not talking about dreams you consciously created or goals you set for yourself. I'm talking about desires that God planted in your soul and that have been silently operating behind every decision you've ever made, behind every pain you've ever felt, behind every transformation you've ever undergone. Throughout your life, you've probably felt a strange force pushing you in certain directions, making you question things that others readily accept, preventing you from settling for superficial answers. You always knew there was something deeper calling you, but you could never quite define what it was. Today, you will find out. Today, the 5 sacred desires that have shaped your existence since the very first second of your life will be revealed with a clarity that will make everything make sense for the first time. What I'm about to share with you isn't an interpretation or a theory. It's a truth that has been hidden from you until this very moment because you weren't ready to receive it. But something has changed. You've reached a point of spiritual maturity where you can finally understand why you are the way you are, why you feel things so intensely, why you've never been able to live on the surface like most people. The 5 desires I'm about to reveal will show you that every characteristic you thought was a flaw was actually a sacred instrument to fulfill a specific divine purpose. Get ready, because when you know what those 5 desires are, your entire life will begin to make sense in a way you never imagined possible. Every pain you've experienced, every intensity you've felt, every time you've had to rise from the ashes, will all connect in a perfect pattern that reveals the divine plan that has always been at work in your life. Are you ready to discover that it was never by chance that you feel everything so deeply? Scorpio, before revealing the 5 sacred desires, I need you to understand something fundamental. God does not give the same desires to all souls. Each human being receives a unique set of divine purposes based on the specific mission they came to fulfill in this world. And the desires given to you are different from any other sign because Scorpio's mission is unique, profound, and transformative. You did not come here to live on the surface. You came to delve into the depths of human existence and bring to light truths that others do not even dare to contemplate. The 5 desires I'm about to reveal are not random. They have been carefully chosen and perfectly calibrated for your Scorpio soul. And each one carries a specific power that, when you finally consciously recognize and embrace it, will unlock levels of fulfillment and purpose you can barely imagine now. These desires are not yours. They are divine gifts given through you to benefit all of humanity. The first sacred desire that God placed within you is the desire to see beyond masks. From childhood, you had an almost supernatural ability to perceive when someone was being false. While other people accepted appearances at face value, you always sensed when there was something hidden beneath the surface. This desire was not placed within you by chance, or to make you suffer seeing lies everywhere. It was placed there because God needs souls who can see the truth, even when it is buried under layers of illusion. This first sacred wish gave you eyes that penetrate beyond the visible. You can look at a person and sense their true intentions, their hidden fears, their unspoken truths. You can enter a situation and instantly perceive the invisible dynamics that are truly governing that space. This ability has often made you feel alone because you saw things that no one else saw. But now you need to understand, this wish was not given to isolate you. It was given to prepare you to be a revealer of truths, someone who can help others see beyond their own illusions. When you consciously embrace this first sacred desire, you stop feeling like an outsider who sees too much and begin to see yourself as a gift to those who are ready to awaken. Your ability to see through masks becomes a tool for healing because you can help people break free from the lies they tell themselves. You can guide others through the darkness because your eyes were made to see in the dark. Do you recognize this power that you have always had, but perhaps learned to hide so as not to disturb those who prefer to live on the surface? The second sacred desire that God planted in you is the desire to transform through intensity. Scorpio, you have never done anything halfway in your life. When you love with an intensity that frightens some people. When you work on something, you immerse yourself completely. When you feel pain, you feel it at the deepest levels. This intensity is not a personality flaw that you need to control or soften. It is a divine instrument given to you to catalyze profound transformations in the people and situations around you. God placed this desire within you because superficial transformations don't truly change anything. Only profound transformations, which reach the root of the issues, can truly liberate people and situations from destructive patterns. And profound transformations demand intensity. They require the willingness to go deep, to not be afraid of the darkness, to remain in the fire until the alchemy is complete. You were made for this. Your intensity is your tool for transformation. Think of all the times in your life when your intensity was criticized or rejected. Now understand, those people weren't ready for the level of transformation your presence offers. But there are others, many others, who are desperate for someone who isn't afraid to dive into the depths with them, who won't walk away when things get tough, who has the strength to stay in the transformation process until it's complete. When you stop apologizing for your intensity and start recognizing it as the sacred gift it is, you become an agent of profound transformation in the world. The third sacred wish given to you is the wish to be constantly reborn. Scorpio, you have already experienced more deaths and rebirths than most people go through in several lifetimes. Relationships that ended and forced you to completely reinvent yourself. Situations that crumbled and forced you to rebuild everything from scratch. Versions of yourself that had to die so that new versions could be born. This constant cycle of death and rebirth is not a punishment or a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is the third sacred wish operating in your life. God placed within you the capacity to pass through symbolic death and emerge transformed, because the world needs people who can show that radical transformation is possible, who demonstrate through their own lives that no one needs to remain trapped in old versions of themselves, who prove that it is always possible to be reborn, no matter how deep the darkness you need to traverse. You are living evidence that resurrection is not just a religious concept, but a reality available to every human being. Each time you went through one of these cycles of death and rebirth, you weren't just surviving, you were mastering a sacred art. You were learning the secrets of profound transformation. You were becoming a master, a dying to what no longer serves you, and being reborn as something completely new. And now that you recognize this third sacred desire, you can stop resisting the cycles of transformation and begin to embrace them as the blessings they truly are. Each death is merely preparation for an even more powerful rebirth. Can you see now that each time you were broken, it was so that you could be rebuilt in a way more aligned with your divine purpose? The fourth sacred desire is the desire to access hidden mysteries. Scorpio, there's a reason you've always been drawn to what's hidden, to what's mysterious, to what most people avoid exploring. You have a natural hunger for profound knowledge, for spiritual truths, for understandings that go beyond what can be seen or proven. This desire wasn't placed in you to make you waste time on irrelevant things. It was placed there because God needs explorers of the invisible, people who can bring light to the dark corners of human existence. From the beginning, you felt there were layers to reality that most people don't even realize exist. You were drawn to studying depth psychology, spirituality, the occult, anything that promises to reveal what lies beyond the surface. This attraction isn't empty curiosity, it's a divine calling. You were equipped with the ability to delve into territories that frighten others and return with treasures of wisdom that can illuminate the path for many. When you consciously embrace this sacred fourth desire, you stop feeling strange about your different attractions and begin to see yourself as a spiritual seeker, someone who has been chosen to explore the mysteries of existence. Your investigations into the depths of the human psyche, your understanding of the invisible forces that shape reality, your knowledge of the processes of transformation, all of this is part of your divine purpose. You are here to discover and share truths that remain hidden from most. And finally, the fifth sacred wish, perhaps the most powerful of all, is the wish to heal through immersion in darkness. Scorpio, God has placed within you a unique ability. You are not afraid to enter the darkness. While others avoid, deny, or flee from their shadows, you have the courage to dive directly into them. Not because you enjoy suffering, but because you intuitively know that true healing only happens when you have the courage to look directly at what frightens you. This fifth sacred wish has transformed you into a healer of the depths. You have the ability to be present with people in their darkest moments without trying to force them out of there prematurely. You can hold the space for others to do the difficult work of confronting their shadows, their traumas, their painful truths. You don't offer superficial comfort or quick fixes. You offer something far more valuable, the presence of someone who isn't afraid of the darkness and who knows that true healing requires going through it, not avoiding it. Think about how many times in your life people have come to you with their deepest problems, their most intense pains, their darkest secrets. It wasn't a coincidence. They sensed in you this sacred capacity to not be frightened by human darkness. They felt that you could witness their darkest parts without judgment and without retreating. This is the fifth sacred desire in action, the ability to heal through courageous presence in the darkness. Now that you know the 5 sacred desires that God has placed within you, you need to understand something crucial. They were not given to you to keep to yourself. They were given to be expressed in the world, to be used for the benefit of others, to be channels through which the divine can touch the lives of people who are desperately in need of exactly what you have to offer. Each desire carries a sacred responsibility. The desire to see beyond masks gives you the responsibility to be a revealer of truths, but always with compassion, never with cruelty. The desire to transform through intensity gives you the responsibility to catalyze profound changes, but always respecting each person's pace. The desire to constantly be reborn gives you the responsibility to be a living example that transformation is possible, inspiring others through your own courage. The desire to access hidden mysteries gives you the responsibility to bring light to hidden truths, illuminating paths for those who are ready. And the desire to heal through diving into darkness gives you the responsibility to be a courageous presence for those who need to traverse their own dark nights of the soul. Scorpio, for years you may have felt different, too intense, too deep, too complicated. But now you know the truth. You are not too much of anything. You are exactly what you need to be to fulfill the 5 sacred desires that were placed within you. Every characteristic you thought was a problem is actually a divine tool, perfectly calibrated for your specific mission in this world. When you consciously live in alignment with these 5 sacred desires, something magical happens. You stop fighting against your own nature and begin to flow with it. You stop trying to soften yourself to fit the expectations of others and begin to fully honor who you were created to be. And when that happens, you become a magnet for the people and situations that truly need you, that can truly benefit from the unique gifts you carry. Imagine how your life will change when you stop apologizing for seeing too much, feeling too much, diving too deep. When you recognize that these are not flaws, but precisely the instruments God has given you to fulfill your purpose. When you fully embrace your intensity, your depth, your capacity for transformation, you will attract relationships where your intensity is valued, not feared. You will find work where your ability to see beyond appearances is an asset, not a problem. you will create a life where your transformative nature is celebrated as the gift it truly is. The 5 sacred desires revealed today are not simply information for you to know. They are truths for you to fully incorporate into how you live each day. Every interaction you have, every decision you make, every relationship you cultivate can be aligned with these divine desires. And when you do this consistently, your life becomes a sacred expression, a channel through which the divine can operate in the physical world. All Scorpios share these 5 sacred desires. All have been equipped with these divine tools, and all have the responsibility to use these gifts not only for their own benefit, but for the benefit of all those who cross their path. Scorpio, there's something I need to tell you. The world needs you exactly as you are. Not a softened or diluted version, not you trying to be less intense or less profound. The world needs your ability to see truths, your courage to plunge into darkness, your willingness to undergo profound transformations. There are people desperate for someone who can witness their deepest pains without backing down. There are situations waiting for someone who has the courage to catalyze the necessary transformations, even when they are difficult. There are truths that need to be revealed by someone who is not afraid to look directly at them. The 5 sacred wishes given to you are not just about your personal fulfillment. They are about the role you came to play in the great evolution of human consciousness. Every time you use your ability to see beyond masks to help someone see their own truth, you are raising collective consciousness. Every time you transform through your intensity, you are proving that profound transformation is possible. Every time you are reborn, you are showing the way to others who also need to break free from their old selves. Every time you explore a hidden mystery and bring light to it, you are expanding human understanding. And every time you have the courage to plunge into darkness to heal, you are demonstrating that we don't need to fear our shadows. Throughout your life so far, you may have felt out of place many times, as if you didn't fit into the ordinary world with its superficial concerns and convenient avoidances. But now you know why. You weren't made for the ordinary world. You were made for the depths. You were equipped with special tools that most people don't have, because you were designed to work in territories where most don't have the courage to go. When you finally fully embrace this, when you stop trying to fit into spaces that weren't made for you and start seeking out the spaces where your gifts are needed, everything changes. You stop feeling like an outsider and start feeling like a highly trained expert doing exactly the job you were prepared for. And the sense of purpose that brings is unparalleled. The 5 sacred desires are like 5 flames that God has lit within you. Each one illuminates a different aspect of your purpose. And when you keep them all burning, when you honor each one of them, they combine into a light so bright that it can illuminate the path, not only for you, but for all those who are seeking a way out of the darkness. Scorpio, the revelation of these 5 sacred desires is not the end of something. It's the beginning. It's the moment when you finally understand why you are the way you are and can stop fighting against your own nature. It's the moment when you can begin to live intentionally aligned with what God has placed within you. It's the moment when your life ceases to be a confusing mystery and becomes a clear mission. Imagine waking up every day knowing exactly why you were made this specific way, knowing that your intensity is a gift, not a problem. Knowing that your ability to see through illusions is a sacred tool, not a curse. Knowing that your cycles of death and rebirth are evidence of your mastery of transformation, not signs of instability. Knowing that your attraction to the occult is a divine calling, not an eccentricity. Knowing that your ability to delve into darkness is a healing gift, not a morbid fixation. When you live from this understanding, everything changes. Your relationships change because you attract people who value depth. Your work changes because you seek opportunities that honor your unique gifts. Your self-image changes because you stop seeing yourself through the eyes of a society that prefers superficiality and begin to see yourself through the eyes of the divine that created you perfectly for your purpose. The 5 sacred desires are alive within you right now. They are not sleeping, waiting to be activated. They are already operating, already influencing your choices, already shaping your reality. The difference now is that you are aware of them, and with awareness comes power. The power to intentionally choose to live in alignment with these divine desires instead of accidentally fighting against them. Share in the comments which of the 5 sacred desires resonated most strongly with you. This expression will help solidify your understanding and will also support other Scorpios who are discovering these truths about themselves. Subscribe to the channel now, because this revelation is just the beginning. You will need guidance on how to live concretely aligned with these 5 sacred desires, how to recognize when you are honoring them and when you are betraying them, and how to use each of them in an increasingly conscious and powerful way. Turn on notifications to receive all the guidance that will support you in fully living the divine purpose that has been placed within you. Scorpio, God made you intense because the world needs intensity. He made you profound because superficiality transforms nothing. He gave you the ability to see beyond masks because the truth needs to be revealed. He equipped you to constantly be reborn because you need to prove that transformation is always possible. He drew you to mysteries because hidden truths need to be discovered. And he gave you the courage to plunge into darkness because that's where the deepest healing happens. You are not too much. You are exactly what you need to be. And the 5 sacred desires you now know are proof that you were created with divine precision for an extraordinary purpose.